Is it possible to game on the new Intel Xe graphics? And is it possible as well as Intel tried to show in their demo? In today's video we are going to take a closer look at gaming on my laptop with Intel i5 1135G7 with Intel Xe graphics. I'm W2Best and I make in-depth gear reviews and tutorials, and if you like this video after watching it, I would be super happy if you wanted to put a like on the video and maybe also subscribe to this channel. That gives me a lot of motivation to bring out new content moving forward now during winter and spring. If you want to communicate with me, you can do so either in the comment section below or on Instagram, where I'm also at W2Best. In this video we'll try out gaming on Intel Xe graphics using Overwatch, Doom, GTA 5 and The Witcher 3. I was a little bit disappointed when I made the full review of this laptop that I'm using as example, because I was getting really good results in Heaven Benchmark, but then when I switched over to play Overwatch, it was actually not that good results. However, I have to say that this laptop really performed quite well, and I was well able to play both Doom and reach around 30 FPS, play GTA 5 and reach above 40, sometimes even above 50 FPS, and then play The Witcher 3 and reach around 20-25 FPS on average. If you just want to watch one game or one part of this video, you can use the description box below and the chapters that are put there, so you can click yourself right to the chapter that you want to see. I will be filming the screen with the camera, just because I figured that using a screencaster consumes quite a lot of power, and you're never gaming at the same time as using a screencaster anyhow. Using a camera to film the screen also gives me the ability to have this material filmed at 50 FPS. So if you want to, go down to the settings tab and then switch the video to 50 FPS so you can see as many frames as possible in the video. In all of the tests I've done today, both the games and the benchmarks, the temperatures are behaving pretty much exactly the same way, both on the CPU and GPU and on the surface of the laptop. So I will not go through that over and over again, but I will just tell you now. When you start a really intensive task, the laptop will turbo and it will reach a temperature of around 90 to 95 degrees. Then it will stabilize at a lower power level and a temperature at around 75 to 80 degrees. This is happening in all the different tests I have done, both when you're in intelligent cooling mode and in extreme performance mode in this Lenovo Yoga Slim 7i that I'm testing on. The surface temperature of the laptop when the CPU is around 75 degrees is always around 40, 41, sometimes reaching 42 degrees. This is not uncomfortable, and especially not on the WASD keys, you don't feel heat at all when you're playing. The fans are on and you can hear them, but it's not a problem and it's not a high-pitched noise. So I'm positively surprised by how little fan noise the laptop is actually putting out when you are running these heavier tasks like games and benchmarks. Let's try a game of Overwatch. We are playing in extreme performance and we are plugged into power. And the settings that we are going to play Overwatch in will be the settings that the game suggests when you start it up. These are all low settings with a render scale of 79%, and we're playing in full HD resolution. As you can see in these clips, Overwatch is highly playable in low settings and 79% render scale, but I had kind of higher expectations on the Intel Xe graphics, mainly based off of how well it has been running Heaven Benchmark, but I would definitely not switch this up to medium graphics or even 100% render scale, because it will start dropping frames at that point. And low graphics, 79% render scale is what we're gonna stay at in this game. When it comes to temperatures, there are more info in my full review of this laptop. It usually bursts up to 89, 90, sometimes even up to 97 degrees on core number 3. But then it stabilizes around between 70 and 80 degrees. So that's the temperature range. It starts at a burst and a much higher boost clock in temperature, and then it power limits itself and goes down to these 70-75 degrees most of the time. Let's try out a bit of Doom gameplay. We are playing Doom in all low settings, but with a render scale of 100%. We are playing it in the native resolution 1920 by 1080. As you can see, Doom is also quite a playable experience, staying at around 30 FPS most of the time. Sometimes it's dropping down to about 25, but I still never find that the game is lagging, and even in intense fights here, it's been still pretty possible to keep control over the weapons and the gameplay in general and the movement. So in these settings, I would absolutely be fine to play Doom on the Intel Xe graphics. Let's try out a bit of GTA 5. As you can see in the benchmark videos here, it performs relatively well at between 40 and 50 and sometimes even above 50 in the different benchmark tests. Let's also try out some gameplay. The settings that we will be playing in is full screen and 1920 by 1080. And this is the first time I'm playing GTA 5, so I don't really know about how to use the settings here. But here we have the advanced graphics that the game has chosen for us when starting the game. As you can see, GTA 5 is also quite playable at around 50 FPS most of the time. I don't know how it is with more intense scenes later on in the game, but showing from both the benchmarks and from my trial gameplay there, it looks to be working pretty fine to play this game. So this is turning a little bit more positive when trying some more games and not only Overwatch, where I think the Xe graphics perform worse than what I would have expected them to do.
There's enough here for us all to enjoy. Depends on how you look at it. We're done here. Let's go. Coming out, me. Give it up. I got him. I saw your face. I'll remember you. Get 1,000 the train, man. You guys all right? Fuck! Come on! Ditch the car, all right? We can go this way to the chopper. No! Hey! Stick to the plan. What? Stick to the fucking plan. Come on. Where the fuck's the chopper? Fuck. Check around back. Ah! Oh, the fucking van! Someone must have fucking walked! Hey, Brad's gonna be fine. We gotta get the fuck out of here. Out of here!
Finally, let's try some Witcher 3 and see how the laptop performs in this a little bit heavier game. We are playing The Witcher 3 in low graphics with a resolution of 1920 by 1080. VSync is turned on, except that everything else is turned to off or low.
You know I don't find that amusing.
It wasn't meant to amuse, but to prod you to hurry. It's midday already. You promised Ciri you'd train with her. Go before Vesemir bores her to death with those etchings.
So, later then.
See you later.
Shit. Mountain Pass is beautiful as ever.
Necrophages follow. Let's go before any more show up.
Ever tell you about this sorcerer I knew? Couldn't stop talking about how useful they are as creatures.
Because you can brew potions from their blood.
No, because by eating rotting corpses, they prevent epidemics.
Did he know they eat the living as well?
No, really upset him too. His theory collapsed.
War's not exactly going our way.
We have a side.
The Northern Realms.
Radovid's realms, don't you mean? Temeria and Edirn are no more.
Radovid's pledged to restore the old borders as soon as he wins the war.
Believe that?
Gotta believe something. That's what keeps us going.
Looking for a woman, raven-haired, violet eyes, dresses in black and white, riding in from Willoughby. And, strange as it sounds, lilac and gooseberries might have smelled that.
I've not seen nor smelt such a lady.
Believe I'd remember.
Yeah, especially hard to forget this one.
Plenty of travellers about, though. Folk from all over. Might be worth your while to ask after her.
I'm surprised this works as well as it does. Now in this conversation we have been down under 20 FPS all of the time. Except that though, it has been working really well to play The Witcher 3, even on Intel Xe graphics. Let's do Heaven Benchmark, still in extreme performance mode, plugged in, and see what the laptop scores. Heaven Benchmark scored 792 points with an FPS of 31.4. Minimum FPS was 17.3 and maximum FPS was 60.8. During this stress test we had a max CPU temperature of 67 degrees. The fans were on, but they were not uncomfortably loud at any point. They were audible, but never loud. Let's run a Firestrike benchmark and see what the i5 1135G7 scores in this 3D benchmark. Firestrike scored 2,764 points, with a graphics score of 3,121, a physics score of 12,648, and a combined score of 913. And here are the detailed monitoring on screen, so you can pause here and see all the results for yourself. That is it for my video about gaming on Intel Xe graphics with the Lenovo Yoga Slim 7 and the 1135G7 CPU. This has been a pretty good experience, I have to say, and I am positively surprised by it. You will have to judge for yourself if you think that this is enough power for your needs. But for a mobile gaming setup where you're not really that into gaming, but you just want to be able to play a game occasionally, I have to say that this works really, really well. I am W2Best and I make in-depth gear reviews and tutorials, and I will see you in the next video. Have a really nice day. Bye bye!